Alright, well hello and welcome to my channel. I am Anna Winnicki and I am a second year PA student at UNT Health Science Center. And so today I'm going to talk about how to get into PA school. Well, I can say I've been through it and I've done it and I am doing it. Pretty much the purpose of this video today is just to talk about what you need to do and be aware of in the process of applying to PA school, and then we're just going to take it from there. Alright, so let's begin. Before applying to PA school, obviously you need to know that you want to be a PA. You want to make sure that you understand what this track is, what being a physician assistant is, and why you want to do it, because you're going to get asked that a lot. First and foremost, you want to make sure that you get your bachelor's degree, whether that is something in the science field like a biology degree, or I got a healthcare studies degree. That helped me, I think, but people in my class have a bunch of varieties of different majors, so it really doesn't matter about that, but it helps with the prerequisite part of it. Make sure, starting off, that you want to have shadowed a PA, whether it's, a few hours or hundreds of hours just shadowing. It says on a lot of the pages for different programs hey, this is good, you can do this. It's not a requirement, but it's highly recommendable. I would suggest that you do that. I didn't actually shadow for a long time, but I think that in hindsight, I wish that I did, because I feel like if anything, it would just help my application more at that point in time. But definitely shadow a PA, even if it's an NP or an MD, just shadowing somebody can kind of help you say oh, I shadowed this, I saw what they were doing, and I figured it wasn't for me, and so that's why I really want to be a PA, and then it gives you something to back up your application. You want to make sure you have volunteer hours. That makes you seem like a well-rounded person, on top of other things that we're going to get to in a little bit, but make sure you volunteer. It can be an animal hospital, real people hospital. I definitely got a lot of my hours just shadowing at one near me, which is in Texas, Medical City, and I shadowed one of those for a few years. I got into one of their programs and I just ended up shadowing for a few hours every week, and it added up, and I feel like that helped me stand out as an applicant because I had that to back me up, and I formed really good relationships with the different medical professionals that were there, and I feel like it made me learn a lot more about the medical profession. So volunteering is definitely a good thing, but I think just in general, volunteering anywhere is a great thing. Volunteering at church, volunteering at your school, doing literally anything that's for the well-being of others is just good. Do it. It makes you a better person and you learn a lot. It's life experience. Another thing that really will help you get into PA school is working, period. Having a job is a good thing. You learn a lot from that, especially if you're watching this video and you're a freshman in college. Get a job in anything, but importantly, do something in the medical field. I wish that I had known this earlier. Granted, I figured I wanted to be a PA junior year of college, so that was kind of a little late on my part, but that's another story. Work is good because you get either patient care hours or you get healthcare hours. I got a ton of healthcare hours, but I didn't actually touch patients. I didn't have those hands-on experiences, which I think really makes people stand out. But I did have over 4,000 healthcare hours because I was in a pharmacy working as a pharm tech for 5 years. So it really added to my application. I think that made someone stop and be like, oh, okay, they worked here, they were in the medical field, they interacted with a bunch of different healthcare professionals, doctors, pharmacists, PAs, nurses, everybody that you can imagine. And so working, you get the life experience, you can show that you can hold a job, which they want to know that their applicants can stay in the program, that they can be good in the field, and that they can have a job so that they represent the program once you graduate and once you become an official PAC. Apart from working, volunteering, and then shadowing, you definitely should probably do things that make you stand out as an applicant. You don't want to be just kind of ABCDE student and then you do this, but you don't really look well-rounded. You don't really stand out oh, everybody else also has done this. You want to do a little bit more, just keep pushing and just making yourself better and better and better. So whether it's doing those extra volunteering things, but everywhere, a bunch of different places, thousands of hours, that'll make you stand out for sure. But do things like being in organizations on campus. Like I said, if you're a freshman watching this in college and you already know that you want to be a PA, which is great, good job, props, I wish I did. But if not, later on, just join our organizations. Be involved on campus. Get in a pre-PA society if your undergrad has that. Do any kind of organization in the medical field, or even be in a sorority, be in a fraternity, be in any kind of organization that interests you, because they want to see that you're interested in something and that you have a passion for anything and that you act upon it and you want to make a difference. I think that helped me out a lot personally, because I was in a sorority. I was a founding member actually in a sorority on campus, and so I was the first vice president of new member education, and then I did a bunch of other positions, and so I was always involved. And I feel like they really like that in applicants, that you can interact with a bunch of other people and that you can have mature conversations. You can work with people that are not in your direct field or direct sorority or whatever, you know. They just want to see that you can do this. I think that's like the biggest point, is that like, can you sustain our program and can you work in this program? Will you be able to make it through? And do you have what it takes to be a PA? That's, I think, like, you know, like, that's it. Also, before applying, make sure that you have the prerequisites. A lot of the time, they have the majority of the same things, like anatomy and physiology, psychology, some kind of statistics, some kind of college algebra, OChem, maybe genetics, sociology, immunology, anything like that. They all have like kind of the general same prerequisites for the programs, but then other programs have a few different things, and make sure you have those. And if not, then you have a chance. If you are applying, like, let's say it's your senior year of college and you get that automatic gap year, well then take some classes, maybe like at a community college, save money, just take it, and then you'll be set, because you won't have to worry about it when you're actually applying. Definitely before applying, make sure that your GPA is kind of with good standing. I mean, granted, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to have a 4.0. I was nowhere near that, but I mean, if you have a 4.0, like, you're set. But work on it. Make sure it's not a 3.0 exactly, because they do say it's the minimum, but you have a minimum because they need a minimum. I would always say aim high. Do as much as you can to raise it up as much as you can, because they want to see that you can actually handle a class. Let me tell you, undergrad is definitely nothing in comparison to BA school classes. I was like, wow, I wish I had known to like study like this, because I would have gotten way better grades in undergrad, but that's besides the point. So make sure you work on your GPA, and then form good relationships with people, especially like professors, anyone you volunteer with, especially if they're a medical professional, and form good relationships with your bosses. If you have those jobs in any medical clinic or just field, if you're in pharmacy, EMT, anything that you're doing to help better your application, then form good relationships with those bosses, because at the end of the day, they are going to be the ones that you ask for a letter of recommendation, and you want to make sure that they give you a stellar one, because if not, then that might be your setback for when it comes to actually applying to your program. Make sure you do that. Now moving on to during the actual application cycle. So what do you need to do to get into PA school? Well, you need to apply. Duh. But first and foremost, you really need to save money. These applications kind of cost a lot of money, and I was aware of that, but I wasn't actually aware until I started the process on CASPA, submitting it, and I was like, oh, this really does rack up like they say, but you know, sometimes it's hard to believe to save that money, especially if you have that job in the medical field that you're using to get those patient care and hands-on hours. And then during the actual process, make sure that you start working on your personal statement as soon as possible. Let me tell you, that was what took me the longest time. So if you work on that personal statement for a month before application is even open, then you are going to be so ready, and you can apply early, and then you're going to have the best odds out there. I definitely recommend doing that. And then make sure that you are aware when application cycles open. They are on April 25th of every year. If you have a timeline and you kind of stick to it, and you're like, okay, I want to do this at this point and this here, and I want to submit my application in June or July, then you should be set to be pretty early on. And the earlier the better, because most programs do have rolling application cycles. So that means that they are constantly accepting people for interviews, and they're constantly inviting people to be a part of their program. The faster that they send out acceptances, then the less spots that they have, and then the worse the odds get as it progresses. So earlier the better. Another thing is definitely to work on your GRE scores. So if you have a GPA, that's great. Well, then you don't have to necessarily worry about it, but they want to see that you can take a standardized test, because at the end of the day, you are working to pass the PANCE so you can be that PAC. With the GRE, make sure you aim for above a 300, get those study books, and then strive to be making maybe a higher score if your GPA is lower. So kind of like it does like a balancing act, and then they say like, oh, your GPA might not be a 3.95, but you can take a test and you killed it. So we think that you might be able to handle it. It'll be really good for you. Continuously work on your GPA. If you did all the prereqs and you're applying, but you're kind of still iffy about it, it's okay to keep taking classes, especially if they are medical classes. It never hurts to take anything in the summer. I took a few prereq classes during the summer because, well, one, I didn't realize I was missing one, so I was like, oh crap, okay, well, guess I gotta take this. Either way, I took a bunch of summer classes, and then I was able to let them know in CASPA, like, in progress, and so once I finished, sent in the transcripts, and then it all worked out. And if you aren't happy with it, but you do have all the prereqs, well, just like I said, keep taking those medical classes. Anything to boost your GPA is great. Do it. Nothing will hurt you, nothing will be like negatively looked upon when it comes to the application. So definitely don't worry about that because it happens, and anything to better yourself, it's good. It's just important to be aware that like you're trying to sell yourself, you're trying to make sure that you are proving to them that you got this, that they deserve to have you in their program. Always just work to make sure that they know who you are. So put everything down. If you have honors, awards, anything that you're so proud of, research, add it to your application. Like, this is it. This is what you've been dreaming for. So like, get it, do it. You got this. Okay, and something that I wish I had known a little bit more during my application process and just, you know, for applying for PA schools, make sure you research the schools you're applying to. Don't waste a bunch of money because you just want to get in. You know what I mean? We all wanted to get in to whatever school we could, but you want to make sure that it's a right fit for you. So like, look at what they want in their applicants. Look at their motto, look at their mission, their value, their goals for their program, because that will tell you if that's a right fit for you, and it'll also help you in the interview process too. I definitely recommend doing that, and then just be aware that like costs they're real and they're expensive. So like, keep working, keep doing what you need to do and earn that money and do whatever it takes to get to your end goal. This is it. This is what we want to do. We want to be PAs. We want to be in a school. We want to get accepted. So you have to put all your hard work, effort, and you have to believe in yourself to get to that end goal. Another thing about applying to PA programs, if you have a C in one of the prerequisite courses and you're worried about it, it's okay to retake it, and it's okay to let them know why. So if there's some reason that, you know, if it was early on, like you were just starting college and you didn't know, then it's okay, just let them know why and retake it, and then it'll give you a boost in your GPA, and then it'll give you something to talk about if they ever ask. Luckily, a lot of the interviews recently in PA programs, a lot of them are MMI, so multiple mini interviews, and they just focus on you and like interacting with peers and doing real life situations versus you saying, hi, I am Anna and I am a great worker and I love teams and I'm always a team player, you know. Instead of saying that, like, you actually prove to them. You do things with your colleagues in this interview and then you show them like, yeah, you are a team player, or oh, actually you're not. But we can talk about that in another video, another time. Well, all right, my future PA pals. I think that's all that I really wanted to say today. If you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. Let me know what you thought. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I am going to be working on more videos in the future, especially during school, and so we'll see how that works out. But thank you so much for watching and have a great day.